Hey everybody, Brett Mix here from Ultra Wrestling 101, Mixer Madness. What's up? Just doing another WCW review for the Monday Night Wars. This is week 101. I want to say hit like and subscribe if you're new to my channel and you have not already done so. This week is a big one for wrestling as both Raw and Nitro went head-to-head for the 63rd week in a row, though. WCW would win. They scored a 3.8 this Nitro, as Raw scored only a 2.3. Nitro wins by a size of 1.5 difference. So through 101 weeks, Nitro has 82 of the wins, WWF has 17, and there's been 2 draws. The show went live on Monday, October the 13th, 1997, live on TNT from the Ice Palace in Tampa Bay, Florida, home of the Lightning of the NHL. We first see a shot of the crowd with Bischoff with Hogan, and Savage has a black neck brace as DDP got a diamond cutter on him on the concrete last week. Right now, the NWO's got the ring. Bischoff with arguably his 2 biggest stars in Hogan and Savage with the NWO. He talks trash towards the competition, the WWF, at the time, does Bischoff. He says, "Piper, who do you think you are, giving the Outsiders a title match to the Steiners later in the night?" Hogan says, "Piper, if you mess with the NWO, you mess with them for life." Hogan can't stand him calling him the icon when he made wrestling. Hogan says, "Piper, DDP, he's going to show the whole Bay Area that when you mess with the NWO and you're in the NWO, it's just too sweet." So they said they'll get Piper and extract revenge on DDP and get Hogan's title back, as last week Roddy Piper stole it and swung it around. Pyros go off as the Nitro Girls dance, and we head to our first in-ring competition between Eddie Guerrero defending the Cruiserweight title against Psychosis. Psychosis in the black and white, going at the champ who is just oozing confidence. Eddie Guerrero in late 1997 is very confident, and you saw that at the Halloween Havoc match and entrance, and you see it here too. We're just 2 weeks to Halloween Havoc. Eddie and Ray would meet at Halloween Havoc, and that's sort of like the WCW's version of Savage Steamboat. A quick match with a ton of action, fast-paced, and it's highly influential. Psychosis with a baseball slide and a top turnbuckle guillotine leg drop to the outside, but he ends up hitting a senton backsplash instead. Psychosis went airborne, but Eddie knocked him down. Hit a snapshot vertical suplex from the top, then a frog splash, and Eddie retains the gold at 3:43 as he pinned Psychosis, and he tried to take his mask off. Too short to be great, but it was very good for a match that listed under 4 minutes, so I gave it 2.5 stars. They introduced Piper. Piper says, "Who do you think I am, the boss?" He says, "What do you call that happened to Macho Man?" He says, "Justice." He talks about the tag titles to be defended tonight and dishes out harmful lines to Hollywood Hogan in the process. Next up, Steve McMichael takes on Steven Regal. Steve McMichael just tackled Regal down in a few different sequences. Mongo took Regal down relying on his power game, hit the Tombstone Pile Driver, and at 3:35, Steve Mongo McMichael won the match. Deborah comes out saying Jeff Jarrett's no longer in WCW, but she's on to bigger and better things, and she's got a big surprise for Mongo at Halloween Havoc, as it sounds. Up next, we got Yuji Nagata taking on Chris Jericho. Nagata came out with Sonny Ono as the crowd chant for USA, even though we have a Japanese guy taking on a Canadian guy. Jericho one step ahead in the corner off the middle rope with a drop kick. Jericho swings Nagata around. Nagata ran into Jericho, sending him into the apron, face first into the guardrail. Nagata sent back first into the ring post. Jericho slammed him on the mat. Jericho off the top, tripped up by Ono. Then a standing reverse figure 4 as Nagata wins. Yuji Nagata defeats Chris Jericho at 4:06 after a Nagata lock. That's what he calls that submission maneuver. I gave it 2 stars and a quarter. They show a vignette on Raven. He cuts a promo in a baby's room with some kind of baby cradle anthem on in the background with a crib. And he's just talking. He says at the end, he sends, "So it is written as it lasts." Quote the Raven, nevermore. Next up, we got Scotty Riggs taking on a rookie Goldberg. Goldberg, I guess, is 3-0 now after a Saturday night victory, but we didn't see 2 on Nitro before that. And then here he faces Scotty Riggs. So Goldberg comes out and he hits a spear and a jackhammer and he wins in 2:34. He goes to 4-0 after winning on Saturday night and this win. I gave it a star. Hour 2 begins with Pyro. The Steiner brothers take on the Outsiders. Only Nash isn't there to compete, so Six takes Kevin Nash's spot. Piper said the NWO must put up the belts or they're stripped of the titles. This pleases DiBiase, the Steiners manager, of course. Hall and Six with good tag wrestling, taking on Rick, isolating him in their corner of the ring, making frequent tags, cutting off their half of the ring. Basic tag team strategy by the champs. Steiner's dominate after Scott Steiner gets a hot tag and then bulldogged off the top. Hall put the official out, so DiBiase then shoved Hall on the outside. Zbyszko comes to the ring, and Rick Steiner hits a bulldog off the top to Hall, who wasn't expecting him. Steiners end up winning the tag titles at 5:56 after Zbyszko made the count. A quick count, but it ends up standing as Piper rules it later in the night. An official title win. So the Steiner brothers have beaten the tag team champions, the Outsiders, well, Six and Hall. And they're the new tag team champions here on Nitro. You don't see that very often. 2 stars for the tag match. Dean Malenko took on Rey Mysterio Jr. Obviously, these two guys have history of classics at the Great American Bash and Halloween Havoc. Both those events in 1996. Just 2 of the all-time best matches ever in Cruiserweight WCW history. Malenko defeats Rey at 4:51 after a fantastic match under 5 minutes once again. Malenko grounded, neutralized Rey for the duration, but Mysterio was able to springboard and catapult himself to his opponent throughout. He was going to go to the win after a Hurricane Rana, but then Eddie Guerrero came in and from nowhere stripped Rey of his mask. Malenko then capitalized on the situation and put him in the Texas Cloverleaf, and he submitted. Eddie Guerrero then walked up the ramp with Rey's mask while Rey hit his face. Leading to the feud between Rey and Eddie for Halloween Havoc. I gave this match 3 stars and a quarter. DDP has a little bit of a video package that plays, and it talks about recent events, his feud with Savage, to be specific. Piper comes to the ring and says the Steiners' tag team titles will be upheld by Zbyszko, even being the referee since he was an appointed official not long ago. Bischoff and Savage come to the ring. Bischoff says Piper needs a lesson. Piper says it looks like you boys came to play, and he takes off his belt. Piper then came out, and Sting came out to protect Piper, but he doesn't quite look like Sting. It's actually Hollywood Hogan in a mask who drops Piper with a bat. The whole NWO laugh as Piper is grounded. Hogan says, "Where's Sting? Where's Sting?" He mocks Sting. He's cocky, acting like the god of the ring with NWO all around him. The segment ends with Piper hurt, and the NWO all laughs as Hogan pretended to be Sting. Next up, we got Scott Norton taking on Ray Traylor. Big Power Man's match. Norton chops away at Taylor, striking blows. Norton wins at 4:40 after he won with outside interference by the NWO. 3/4 of a star. Disco Inferno defended his TV title against Alex Wright, and as bad as these characters are, and they dance here and there, they're actually pretty decent in the ring. Jacqueline came to the ring, tried to distract the Disco Inferno, but he still rolled up the tights and held the tights at 5:46 to get the win and gave it a star and a half. In the main event in the ring, Kurt Hennig defended the U.S. title against Diamond Dallas Page. Hennig has been in 4 straight Nitro main events. Hennig with a sleeper gets caught by counter of Page with a jawbreaker. DDP goes to fire back. He gets the pancake move, and then he signals for the end. But Ric Flair comes to the ring, being held back by security. DDP rolled up Hennig as we may have a new champion, as Randy Anderson counted to 3. But it was a 2.5-3 as Flair got in the ring at the same time, and he might have disqualified Hennig. I gave it 2 stars and a quarter. We don't know if DDP is the new U.S. champion or not. That does it for the wrestling portion of Nitro, but after the match, Piper came to the ring and lifted up the hand of DDP, although the Randy Anderson had held the belt in his hands, so we don't have any conclusive answer. They end the show with something that is certain, and that is the whole NWO locker room coming down to beat on Piper again. And DDP, as Hogan was the first person in. DDP and Piper went at Hogan. Savage comes out with his neck brace, and then the whole NWO come out. Hogan lays out DDP and Piper. The fans cheer Sting seen from the crowd. Sting then comes to the ring. Then all of a sudden, it's more Stings come. And they're all Sting clones. They come from every direction. Hogan and the NWO just keep beating them off one by one. All of a sudden, the real Sting is seen in the ring as Bagwell is posing, and he posed right after Sting didn't go down. So Sting takes off his mask, and he has the makeup and everything, and the crowd go nuts. He gives a scorpion death drop, and then Hogan goes like this with his hands. He's saying no as he holds onto the ropes, all scared. The NWO back off from WCW as just Sting and Piper in the middle of the ring as Piper waves the belt of Hollywood Hogan's, and Sting points the bat. One of the best endings for Nitro I've seen. Quality-wise, for this event, out of 10, I'd give it an 8 because it had a few great matches. Malenko and Ray, Eddie and Psychosis, Eugene Gata and Jericho, DDP Hennig, the Snyders and the Outsiders. Plus the Hogan and Sting clever promo, the beatdown on Piper. The WCW was riding a high in 1997, and these episodes that get near the winter of 97, winter of 98 are really, really good. So it's a lot of fun going back and rewatching them. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these reviews. Like I say, I'm always enjoying the WCW reviews as of late. This is the cream of the crop for them. This is where they're about to peak, heading into 1998. And with Sting and the whole ending and the whole episode, I decided to give it an 8. I'm Brett Mix. Hit like and subscribe again, and I'm out.